Prince William has launched a scathing attack on the BBC after an independent inquiry found journalist Martin Bashir used deceitful tactics to secure a bombshell interview with his mother, Princess Diana, in 1995.
I would like to thank Lord Dyson and his team for the report. It is welcome that the BBC accepts Lord Dyson's findings in full, which are extremely concerning. That BBC employees lied and used fake documents to obtain the interview with my mother, made lurid and false claims about the royal family, which played on her fears and fueled paranoia, displayed woeful incompetence when investigating complaints and concerns about the programme, and were evasive in their reporting to the media and covered up what they knew from their internal investigation. It is my view that the deceitful way the interview was obtained substantially influenced what my mother said. The interview was a major contribution to making my parents' relationship worse and has since hurt countless others. It brings indescribable sadness to know that the BBC's failures contributed significantly to her fear, paranoia and isolation that I remember from those final years with her. But what saddens me most is that if the BBC had properly investigated the complaints and concerns first raised in 1995, my mother would have known that she had been deceived. She was failed not just by a rogue reporter, but by leaders at the BBC who looked the other way rather than asking the tough questions. It is my firm view that this Panorama programme holds no legitimacy and should never be aired again. It effectively established a false narrative which for over a quarter of a century has been commercialised by the BBC and others. This settled narrative now needs to be addressed by the BBC and anyone else who has written or intends to write about these events. In an era of fake news, public service broadcasting and a free press have never been more important. These failings, identified by investigative journalists, not only let my mother down and my family down, they let the public down too.
Bashir claims the fake bank statement he produced did not influence Diana's decision to do the interview. For more, I'm joined by royal editor at the Daily Mirror, Russell Myers. Russell, unprecedented words from the Duke of Cambridge, incredibly strong.
Morning, Koshi. Well, absolutely unprecedented. I mean, I can't remember a time when I've heard him speak with such raw emotion and certainly very, very powerful words that make disturbing listening for the BBC. He's absolutely savaged them by saying that they plagued her fear, paranoia and isolation. You heard just then him speaking of his indescribable sadness of the last years of his mother, of her being tormented by this interview and the deceit and deception of Martin Bashir. And I think that the BBC will really struggle to pick up the pieces from this one. And William has said that the Panorama programme has no legitimacy anymore and it should never be aired again. These are absolutely astonishing words.
Do you know whether we're going to get any other reaction from the palace or from Harry?
Well, we just in the last few moments heard from Harry. He has been speaking about his resilient, brave and unquestionably honest mother and saying that whilst this is the first step to justice and the truth coming out, he still feels there is a sort of an atmosphere of fake news and deception around areas of the media. So, unfortunately, the brothers haven't come together for these statements. But I think that shows you the gulf that is between them, sadly.
Oh, yeah, but they're a long way apart, and that this has just been released, sort of to give them a bit of a benefit of the doubt. What about the British public? How are they reacting to this?
Well, I think it's, you got such strong words from William. Certainly Earl Spencer was talking about the line that he believed existed between Bashir and the meeting of Bashir and then 2 years later her unfortunate and tragic death. And I think that's very, very powerful as well. You'll certainly see reams and reams of coverage, and it's not every day that the future king stands outside Kensington Palace and savages the national broadcaster. So I don't think we've heard the last of it, and certainly potentially a watershed moment for the BBC, and they'll be struggling to pick up the pieces from this absolute disaster.
Yeah, because the British public still have an incredible soft spot for Diana, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. I think she's still revered around the world. You think you just look at sort of Google search images that I see every now and then, and people are still absolutely fascinated by her legacy. And she's forever young, isn't she? She's been immortalised in the memories of so many people around the world.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Russell, we'll have more on this as more reaction comes out throughout the show. For now, thank you.
Cheers, Scotty.